Something huge is brewing in crypto right now, but no one's talking about it. Not influencers, not the media, and definitely not the retail crowd. But behind the scenes, well, the exact same signals that came right before Solana's insane 100x run are flashing again. And this time, it's for something totally different. If you've ever missed a life-changing play before, you cannot afford to miss this one. A project that's fast, truly decentralized, and still completely under the radar, and barely anyone's noticed. Smart money is already moving in silence, and in this video, I'll show you exactly why this could be the most explosive play of the entire bull run. Real accumulation, hidden metrics, a long-term thesis that challenges everything we know about layer ones, and that's just the beginning. Now, let's zoom out for a second because the bigger setup is already here. Global liquidity is surging again, quietly fueling a return to risk-on behavior. And every time this pattern has played out, crypto has gone vertical. While Bitcoin grabs headlines, it's the altcoin market that's starting to wake up. And when that happens, well, that's when generational wealth is made. But here's the truth. By the time retail figures it out, it's already too late. So if you're watching this right now, consider yourself early. Because in a few minutes, I'm going to show you why this project might not just be another altcoin. It might be the altcoin of this cycle. This is an altcoin that has outperformed nearly every coin after the 2022 crash. It's a proof of work project that has been achieving what other projects only dream of in this space. And in just a few minutes, I'll reveal what it is. Take a wild guess and drop it in the comments below. What coin do you think fits this description? I'll give you a second. All right. Let's see if you got it. And before we go deeper, one quick thing for all of you crypto traders out there. I often get asked about my favorite exchange to use. And the truth is, I don't have one. There are too many hacks and downtimes to rely on just a single platform. Even major platforms like Coinbase have had major outages. That's why I use over 10 exchanges. And one of my main go-to platforms is WEEX, which has no KYC or location restrictions. So yes, traders in the USA and Canada don't have to worry about being blocked. They offer some of the lowest fees on trading, and if you sign up with my link down below, you'll receive a 200 USDT bonus and a chance to earn up to 30,000 USDT in rewards. And if you want to get all of the latest alpha and projects in the crypto space, then check out the FireHustle VIP Discord. I also share my content and portfolio moves in the Discord first before it reaches YouTube and X. So if you're looking for a way to stay ahead of everyone else in this market, then follow the link in the description to learn more about the Discord group. And don't forget to hit those like and subscribe buttons, and let's dive right in. Now, here's what most people forget. Altcoins don't run after everyone feels safe. They run when fear and disbelief are still in the air. And that's exactly where we are right now. Bitcoin might be taking the spotlight, but historically, when liquidity rises, Bitcoin moves first. And altcoins follow in an explosive second wave. A lot of you are still asking and questioning whether or not we're gonna have an altcoin season. But what if I told you altcoin season doesn't start with the coins that everyone's watching? It starts with the ones that no one's talking about yet. The quiet outliers. The ones with real fundamentals, real innovation, but barely any spotlight. This is one of the few coins that's quietly built real momentum while staying out of the spotlight, but probably not for much longer. And if you've connected the dots by now, yes, I'm talking about kaspa, a name that most retail investors don't understand, but one that could define this next cycle. Now, a lot of you probably know that I've covered kaspa many times already, and I know what some of you are thinking. She's just another kaspa shiller. But that couldn't be further from the truth. As much as I've been a fan of this project, it definitely has its shortcomings and challenges, and I've also been critical of this. And I'm going to cover all of this so you get the full picture of what kaspa is all about. And more importantly, figure out if it's worth buying kaspa at the current price. Now, if you look up the kaspa currency, you'll see that it's a top 100 cryptocurrency with over a $2 billion market cap. So this isn't a small coin. So why am I calling it a quiet outlier? Well, let's go back and understand what happened to this project and token over the last little while. Shortly after the 2022 market crash, the kaspa token was launched, and it quickly became one of the best performing cryptocurrencies, with the price moving up quarter after quarter. Kaspa peaked at over 20 cents last summer, and at that time, the market cap reached about $5 billion. Kaspa even made its way into the top 20 cryptocurrencies because of this price movement. Then things went downhill from there, and it's currently over 50% down from the all-time high. This is completely different from what's happening with Bitcoin, which is actually very close to its record high set just weeks ago. So why is Kaspa moving in the opposite direction? Before I answer that, just a quick heads up for anyone looking to trade altcoins like Kaspa. Make sure you're using platforms that actually support these kinds of coins without crazy fees or restrictions. That's why WEEX is one of my go-tos. Low fees, no KYC, and yes, it works in the US and Canada, and you can find the link in the description if you want to check it out. But back to my question. Why is Kaspa moving in the opposite direction? Well, first of all, it's not just Kaspa that has cooled down. Most of the altcoin market is feeling this right now. Look at Ethereum. Even with this dramatic recovery, it's still down 40% from 6 months ago. Same thing with Solana, which was almost double the current price at the start of 2025. And this is the case for both the large cap and small cap coins across the board. And the explanation for this is very simple. Right now, it's all eyes on Bitcoin. The price is continuing to push up, and if you look at the weekly chart, it looks like Bitcoin is in a bull run. Or more specifically, the stage it's in right now is very similar to the stages that led to the biggest move up in past cycles. So things are looking positive here. Bitcoin dominance is also still in an uptrend. This is an indication that the majority of money coming into the crypto market is falling straight into Bitcoin. And that should make sense. Think about all of the institutional investors like BlackRock and MicroStrategy spending billions to buy up Bitcoin. Now, all of this money shifting from Bitcoin to altcoins is what caused these massive drops in Bitcoin dominance in past cycles. And this is also correlated with the biggest push up for altcoins, what we call altcoin season, which is one of the biggest arguments for why we have yet to see more positive action from altcoins this cycle. Now, if we're expecting a bigger run up, then an obvious move would be to get positioned in the market before it's too late. That's what I've spent the last few years doing, and I still take advantage of opportunities whenever they come up in the market. But going back to Kaspa, this price chart alone tells us we're down from the peak. We did see a major pullback to about 5 cents, and it's now around the 9-cent mark. And based on the short-term price action, I would place the support zone at about 8 cents, and it looks like Kaspa is in the middle of bouncing off the zone. But my focus is more on the long-term potential for this project. And honestly, there's a lot to look forward to here, so let's dive a bit deeper into this ecosystem. Now, one of the biggest updates we've seen with Kaspa recently is the crescendo hard fork, which means that Kaspa can now process 10 blocks per second on its mainnet. The network was previously able to process 1 block per second, so this is a big step up. And so far, the transition has been smooth without major reported issues. Now, I know blocks per second is hard to compare to transactions per second, and I've talked about this issue before. But without boring you with all the math, 1 BPS on Kaspa translates to roughly 2,500 to 5,000 transactions per second, and 10 BPS is just 10 times that. So 25,000 to 50,000 transactions per second. These aren't concrete numbers, they're just estimates of what the network can handle based on what we know about the Kaspa's block dag metrics. The actual TPS day-to-day is much lower at the moment, which reflects the current usage level of the network. The true test will be during high activity periods. And the crazy part is that the Kaspa team doesn't want to stop at 10 BPS. They're working towards scaling up to 32 blocks per second and eventually 100 blocks per second. And if they're successful, this means blazing fast speeds on a proof of work network, something never seen before. But with all of this success, we can't go without discussing one of Kaspa's biggest limitations. A limitation that is currently stopping it from outperforming big names like Solana and Ethereum. Yet it could also be one of the biggest upcoming opportunities for Kaspa as well. Right now, Kaspa is simply just a network used for currency transfer. You can send and receive tokens super fast, but that's about it. There's no smart contract layer as of yet. No DeFi, no real application layer. But all of that is about to change because one of their most anticipated upgrades on Kaspa's roadmap is the launch of Layer 2 functionality and smart contracts. This would transform the project. Think about it. Ethereum and Solana built thriving ecosystems because of their smart contract capabilities. What's the key difference? It's apps, infrastructure, platforms, all built on top of them. That's what drives user engagement, and this is what kaspa is gearing up for in the near future. So they're working on a layer 2 platform called Sparkle. And all of this would aid in driving real-world adoption of kaspa's tech, from cross-border payments to real-world asset tokenization and even supply chain solutions. There would be endless use cases. But right now, all of this is still in development. So what does all of this mean? Well, it means that we're early. So on one hand, kaspa has absolutely crushed it with its raw performance, but here's the catch. The ecosystem still feels incomplete, and it feels like they're almost just getting started. Without layer 2s or smart contracts live just yet, kaspa's full utility isn't unlocked, which raises the big question of, is it even worth getting into at this stage? Well, I've been tracking kaspa for years before anyone was paying attention. It gained a lot of attention while still in its rawest form. Now that the 10 BPS foundation is in place, kaspa has set the stage. The next wave is going to be smart contracts, layer 2s, stablecoins, and real application infrastructure. And this would take kaspa towards becoming a full-blown ecosystem. And if the team continues to build as they have, then it would position kaspa as a serious contender in the DeFi and RWA tokenization space. Of course, this all still depends on how well kaspa performs day to day and the number of challenges that the team faces. And speaking of challenges, if you've been following kaspa on X, then you may have noticed that the kaspa currency Twitter page suddenly stopped posting after the crescendo update on May 5th. Something like this causes a lot of confusion and fear to spread in the community. But here's the deal. Their X page isn't the official kaspa team page. It's run by community members. And a lot of people don't realize this. The problem is that this page became the major go-to source for information and updates on the kaspa project. And some people might have felt that the content wasn't always aligned with the core devs. So the people behind this X account decided to stop posting their own content, and they're working on a structure to align this account with the actual team. They recently provided an update and explanation for what's going on, and I think this was a big step in the right direction. At the end of the day, if this account has the biggest reach in the kaspa ecosystem, then it needs to be handled responsibly and operate in line with the official team members. But all that being said, is it still early enough to get into kaspa, or is it better to wait now? Well, I believe that the window for early positioning is still open, but probably not for long. Whether it's kaspa or another gem, now is the time to be looking under the radar, not chasing headlines. The team behind kaspa is one that's constantly building to improve the ecosystem. And based on what they have planned in their roadmap, we're about to see some of the biggest moves from this project that could flip the entire crypto space. We also have to consider whether or not they'll be able to roll out these updates quick enough while the market is hot this cycle. Failing to do so could disappoint supporters that have been waiting for these big moves. As always, none of what I say is financial advice. Please don't blindly jump into anything just because I mentioned it here. My intention with these videos is to just create a foundation of understanding and open up a discussion about different projects and topics in crypto. But one piece of advice that I will provide you with is to do your own research. Read more about what's going on and really understand the project. That way you can make the best informed decision according to your personal goals. If you want to know more about the projects I'm watching closely, then come and join me in the FireHustle Discord. You can find the link in the description below. Also, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on post notifications so you don't miss any of my content. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.